All right, over here at the 9 o'clock position, a strong Zerg player on the team, Startail. He's red. His name is also the name of a month. He is...
Startail July.
Third game in a row now for July. Against different opponents each time.
Yeah. His opponent down here at the 9 o'clock position has a better intro girl, in my opinion. Recently left TSL.
TricKsteR.
There he is now. By the way, guys, I wanted to mention that GSL has a new sponsor, and that is Pepsi. You can see the Pepsi logo there on the back. Unstable and I are actually drinking Gatorades here.
Made by Pepsi.
Yes.
A lot of people don't actually know that.
Yeah, Powerade is Coke. So as you guys know, these guys are playing again for the second time against each other. So they played in the first game. July 1, held off a timing attack. Now,
Oh, hang on. Sorry, no, we've just been talking for so long. I've looked at it. I can't actually see the top supply here for our red players, so I thought it was an early pull for some weird reason.
no, yeah, it's about a 15 pool. So July been liking this pool first strategy into gas, which is a little unusual, only because Zergs have started to think that the Speedling Expand is the best build to do.
Yep.
Especially because 4-gate was popular for a while. There's a lot of reasons why Speedling Expand is good, but July getting that pool first, interesting choice. He likes to get a very fast second queen off of his main hatchery, and then walk that queen down. Alright, so the Nexus going down at the natural here for TricKsteR. It is going to be a Forge Fast Expand, and he's going to be very pleased when he sees that it's a pool first, because it's a lot easier to defend your natural when it's a pool first, because you know it's not going to be a one-base Roach all in. He's not going to have Zergling speed very quickly. I can kind of lazily take my cannons, be ready for anything. He's even going to see that hatchery that's going to make him feel very comfortable. He may actually just only make one cannon and just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's very easy to do a nice SimCity here. Like, even with the pull first opening, you can't get your Lings in there in time to do much damage. And if you place your cannons correctly, you can safely assume you're going to be expand, get as many probes as you can. You just have to be careful of that Roach timing.
Yeah, the roaches are when it gets really scary when you're trying to defend that, because the roaches find that one place where the cannon can't hit.
Yep.
And then they just abuse it. So right now, July checking around for pylons. He wanted to find the probe actually, and he just barely missed it. So it looks like TricKsteR's gonna go. He's gonna want to see, did you cancel that hatch, or were you just messing with me? What kind of build are you doing? And these Zerglings may actually deny that now the probe has been spotted. And he is going to try to get in here to the main, wants to see if there's a Roach Warren, wants to see if he's still mining gas. He will actually check his vision here. Did not see if gas was still being mined, but he did see no Roach Warren.
And something interesting, I believe it was actually mineral walking straight into that base to stop being surrounded by the Zerglings in that position, because they probably would have killed it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. For those of you guys who don't know about mineral walking, if you right-click on a mineral patch, when you're using a worker, it only works with workers because it counts them as mining. They will walk through any unit they encounter. They don't walk through buildings. They don't walk through force fields, although there was a time where they did, it was a bug, but they no longer do. So you can walk your units through. For example, if you're a Zerg player and your opponent's walled off with a Zealot and you want to get into his base and see what he's doing, just click on his minerals and your drone will walk through the Zealot and go inside of his base. And that's so that when you're defending against Mutalisk harass with your Stalkers, the probes don't get all bugged out and start bouncing around your Stalkers or something. So that's the reason why they walk through units when they're mining.
Some players actually use that as a scouting technique as well, to get past that first Zealot that sometimes walls off.
That's what I just said, man. Wake up, Unstable! We're casting the GSL! Those Zerglings attacking the Meng statue, is it worth their lives? I don't think so. And this Overlord is in trouble. The Zerglings trying to decide if they're brave enough to save it. They're like, we gotta save that Overlord! And they do come over here and save the Overlord, attacking that Stalker. One Zergling does lose its life, though. But the key thing is, they did take out the, they did, of course, keep the Overlord alive. Now, right now for TricKsteR, he is getting +1 weapons. He has a very fast Twilight Council. He's getting a quick blink. And we do see TricKsteR adding 2 gateways here. He may be doing the fast +2 timing attack, or he may actually just go do a blink attack without the +2. It's just +1. There's different variations of that timing attack. So we shall see which one he's going to choose. right now, the Zerglings of July. Welcome back, Unstable. Now the Zerglings of July are scouting around, trying to see what they can see. I'm sorry, we just had a little technical difficulty. That's why I'm just talking here by myself about very arbitrary things like Zerglings walking around. Wolf's a good caster, I heard. He talks about Zerglings walking around.
But while you didn't have the production tab up, we're actually seeing Overlord.
Overlord drops.
Upgrades. Yes.
And a Baneling Nest, so he plans on dropping, of course, those Banelings on top of Stalkers. When Blink is out, though, it makes it a little bit more difficult to do. He's also got a Hydralisk in, though, so he could be planning on doing some Hydralisk drops as well. Overlord drop is very versatile tech to have. Gives you a lot of different options.
It's very effective versus this kind of style with Protoss as well. If you can get in there and force them to choke and get a good concave as they come up the ramp to try and defend themselves, you get a very effective trade. You also get a lot of their production facilities down as well. But I don't think TricKsteR's going to give him that chance. Looks like he's pushing forward a little bit here.
Yeah, he actually doesn't have that many Stalkers. He only has 7 Stalkers, and this is a terrible idea. I have no idea why you thought this was a good idea, because these Zerglings are going to kill every last Stalker. They're going to try to blink away, but it's not going to matter, because those Zerglings are just going to kill them anyways. Every last Stalker, unless he gets blink. Oh!
He did warp in a few Zealots, but he's going to lose them anyway. I'm not really sure why he chose to do that.
Yeah, that was weird. I actually think that move in itself just completely thwarts the fact that
What's going on?
Why did he do that? He didn't scout, he didn't check to see if there were Zerglings over there. He went with very few Stalkers. If you go with just 7 Stalkers, if he doesn't have Zerglings to stop you before you get there, when you get there, he's going to have the Zerglings anyways. You're going to do very, very minimal damage. A huge drop coming here for July. Hydras, Banelings, Speedlings, everything going into these Hydras. No drones. Everything but drones and queens going into those Overlords. And
sometimes you do actually see a queen come with them.
Yeah, sometimes you do.
Did you drop the creep? Yeah. Put a creep tumor?
And he is going to be spotted, but there are so many units here. The Hydras are going to just come out and crush these Stalkers. Even Banelings coming in.
Banelings go to the mineral line.
The probes are going to have to move. There is a cannon, but it doesn't matter. There's so many Banelings, they actually attack the Stalkers. And that was a little bit sloppy. But even so many probes going down here to these Hydras. TricKsteR will clean this up, though. That was actually done really sloppily. The probes could have all been killed by Banelings.
Yeah.
And then if the probes moved, he could have attacked the Stalkers instead. That was a little weird.
That's right. He still did his
He did a decent amount of damage. He traded pretty efficiently. Right now for workers, 40 to 40. So TricKsteR didn't lose that many probes there, and July just kind of cut workers a little bit, so a fairly even trade.
We'll probably see a point here. We do have a Spire on the way as well as Bangling Speed and +2 for July now as well anyway, but we're probably going to see him just continue to drop over and over and over again.
Exactly, and July now has map control. He's got a ton of Speedlings out on the map. He's taking his own third base, and essentially he actually even has Zerglings checking for TricKsteR's third base, and essentially TricKsteR's not going to be able to easily take that third base. In fact, I'm not sure he can take it at all. But I like that he's getting the Temple Archives. We're going to see a very Zealot-heavy army with Archon support in here. Most likely, he may decide to get Stalkers and Archons if he can get the gas out for it. But again, without that third base, this is going to be relatively difficult. But Archons do extremely well against Speedlings and Banelings. Fake drop here.
Sitting here now, looking at July's actually at a pretty heavy supply deficit as he's gone into a lot of tech. We do have that Templar Archives just finishing up now here for TricKsteR as well. July not having his third is really starting to hurt him now.
That is the case. But it is finishing up here pretty soon, and he can buy a ton of time with these drops. Storm is being researched. That's actually unusual. Storm is something that you see in this matchup only in very specific cases. You don't really see it against Muse, because Muse can usually dodge it. You see it against Hydras off creep. You sometimes see it against Zerglings, but Zerglings kind of maneuver around those storms as well. It's a very huge investment, so you usually see Colossi instead, because they can work well against everything, even Roaches. Because, of course, Storms do not do well against Roaches. They just have too many hit points, and if they burrow, they can, like, ride out the storms. They recover their hit points so quickly. Zealot just wanted to scout, but unfortunately gives away the pylon, which will now be taken out.
DT Shrine. Very interesting choice. He is actually starting to take a commanding lead, especially if he gets that third up that he looks like he's about to go and take out now. But Storm is an interesting choice over Colossus here.
Yes. Well, I mean, it makes sense, but normally to achieve what Storm would achieve here, you can just simply use Archons. I mean, you can Storm Banelings, that works pretty well. But do you have to do that? Not necessarily. You just keep your Archons at the front end. Just a little engagement here. TricKsteR really wanted to keep that pylon. And he may actually keep it, warping in a few more Zealots here. Zealots do have +2 attack. July's Zerglings only have +1. +2 just finished right after I said that, so he does have now +2 melee attacks for those units.
Yep. He's going to clean up these Zealots eventually. But
yeah, this was just kind of weird. I mean, he kept the pylon alive, but he wasn't trading very efficiently there. Yeah, he wants to warp DTs in there. That's just what it comes down to. But
he can't do it while there's an actual Zergling there.
Well, he's going to do it anyway. Yep. And oh, and I like that he warped in one Zealot because that means that July didn't necessarily see the DT.
But he already has a Spore Crawler sitting right there.
Yeah, he's going to try to target that Spore Crawler down, but there is a Spine.
Going to try and get as many kills as he can.
Does get 3 kills. Not worth it, though.
No. Especially with these Archons in the mix now for TricKsteR, it's going to really work against his Mutaling strategy here. He's getting quite a few Banelings, 18 in production now. He's going to be dropping those.
Yeah, right now, we do have 2 Archons out on the field, and he's got a few High Templar. He's got 3 High Templar. Remember, he does have Storm. He's got a lot of energy built up on those High Templar. He is going to try to maybe storm these units, and he does hit the Mutas.
Oh, and the Blinker follow-up. He's going to get quite a few kills here. Gets a couple of those Mutas, forcing him back.
Yeah, I like that. It's not always easy to get storms off on Mutas. For some reason in StarCraft 2, it seems hard to hit storms against Mutas, whereas in StarCraft 1 it was so good and it was so easy to hit those Mutas.
It's just practice in Star 2 though, because you just gotta...
Yeah, well, with the Flyer Helpers on, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, the Flyer Helpers in the menu, it makes it easier to hit those storms because it's kind of hard to see with the angle, just with the 3D style of StarCraft 2. I think maybe that's what gives me trouble. I started using that Flyer Helper recently though. It's helpful, that Flyer Helper. Jeez.
Alright, so we do have TricKsteR coming into the north base here as well, as we might see a drop from July. Oh, gets that hatchery, didn't get a chance to cancel it here for July. He is going to go for that drop and try and trade here. A lot of Banelings and Lings in this mix. Nice storm by TricKsteR, getting a lot of those Mutalisks. More Stalkers being warped in, but most of these units here are actually Banelings. Going to work on the Stalkers, pulling all of those probes. I'd probably take a couple of those Overlords and go straight into the natural, but we do have a lot more Banelings and Lings coming in here. Nice force fields by TricKsteR. He's actually taking out that third base pretty well. Yeah,
July is going to turn around. He has to. There's no way he can win a base race with these units, and in fact, it looks like most of the units he left behind here have been cleaned up. July is actually in a little bit of trouble. And here comes the army of TricKsteR. Guardian shields up, good force fields. Archons doing a ton of damage to these units as they roll forward. Good blinks. The Archons do fall, but there's still a lot of Stalkers here. You might want to blink away, though. A lot of Banelings falling, and a lot of Speedlings coming to help out as well.
He will be cleaned up here. There's nothing to do about it. Nice move by July, pulling back those Banelings. Realize he doesn't want to waste them on these Stalkers, but still, he's significantly behind without his third up.
That is very true. Now, right now, back at home, TricKsteR adding some more Stalkers in the mix. He's got a decent amount of Stalkers back home, despite losing all of those over there. And actually, I'm trying to count his gateways. He's got about 8 gateways, so he's got 3 bases and 8 gates. You can support that. He's most likely going to make a lot of Blink Stalkers, use any extra gas he has to make High Templar. He does have Storms, but will he really use them, or will he just make Archons? It's going to kind of be up to him. How well can he control? How well can he micro?
Yeah, we do have a DT sitting up at the north there for TricKsteR. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it go and try and attack that third yet again and try and keep him behind, because he just doesn't have the production at the moment. He was making a macro hatch up there as well, and with these 3 bases, the longer it goes on, the further behind July is going to get at this point.
That is very true, and he's actually going to try to bust this third base location, but the Archons have found the morphing Banelings. Will this be enough, though? The Archons tanking a ton of hits here at the front. They do fall some good storms, hitting a lot of these Banelings, but just barely holds. I mean, if he didn't have those storms, it's ironic because I was saying maybe he just wants to use Archons, but without those storms, I'm not sure if he would help that. A lot of the Speedlings of July were just not able to participate in that fight, so therefore the Stalkers will clean up. And it looks like TricKsteR is going to actually hit a little timing attack here. Not sure if he should be going right now. I think he should just wait a little bit longer, but even so, this may be able to do a lot of damage.
Well, if he can put pressure on that third yet again, it's going to keep the lava saturation down for July, especially with those DTs in the mix now. Looks like July's actually going to try and take that gold to try and get himself back in there, but so is TricKsteR.
Yeah, I like this move by TricKsteR. I thought he was going to attack, but like you said, he is taking that gold base instead, which allows him to be a little bit aggressive if he wants to be. It allows him to also have a nice defensive posture as he gets that gold base up. Now, he doesn't yet know that July is attempting to take that gold base, but as soon as he finds out, he is most likely going to put some pressure on because he's very close. Not only can he attack that gold base, but defend his own at the same time. Taking out these creep tumors as well with the Observer in his army.
The Observer should spot that something weird is going up on that gold base. I think he's slightly too far to the left, unfortunately, for TricKsteR, but still he is slightly leading in the supply count. Here comes a lot of Hydras, a lot of Lings. He's going to chase him back, and not as many Archons and High Templars in the mix. Oh, there they are.
Yeah, the High Templar are back at the gold base, but he does have 2 of those. They both have enough energy for one
Oh,
storm.
the DT has seen the gold base now. Going to start to work on that. There's really no detection anywhere for him. Does he have an Overseer in the mix? I don't think he does.
He has one, but it's taking a while to get over here. And there are so many Blink Stalkers that you might just be able to snipe it. And all of those Zerglings want to be so far away from that Archon. The Overseer does pop there. And I think July actually is in so much trouble. It's very difficult for him to deal with this next attack. He's invested so much in trying to hold that gold base. He just doesn't have the right units here. A lot of Zerglings coming. Nice Blink and good Storms on top of the Hydras.
And just that Blink just completely nullified pretty much everything that July had there. He thought he had to surround, go straight into it, and blinking yet again down off the cliff. And all these Hydras doing as best they can, and looks like he will just barely thwart this attack. And it was those High Templars dropped immediately in this.
Yeah, actually, if he catches these Stalkers, it will be quite huge. July has regained supply lead here, and he's going to try to blink these Stalkers. I think he wanted to get on the high ground, but realized he couldn't quite make it. And now he's going to want to blink towards this cannon, but I don't know. There are a lot of Hydras coming unstable.
Yeah, they are indeed, but he's going to be forced to pull back. He doesn't want to engage up onto the cliff there.
That is true.
He just doesn't want to attack onto the high ground, right? And it looks like he is going to save that third base yet again. The DT being forced to pull back. And July looks like he just wants to move forward ever so slightly. He needs more Storms. TricKsteR really needs Storms right now.
He really does. And here come the Stalkers. It's actually a DT going to work on some of these units. There's no detection. This is going to force July back. The supplies are incredibly close. 124 for July to 120 of TricKsteR. This has actually been an extremely back and forth game.
Yeah, we did have that Robotics Bay finish as well now, so we're going to see some Colossus on the field. He's also got +2 weapons finishing up, as well as have a look at July's upgrades right now.
Those are actually +3, by the way, for TricKsteR. July at +1 Carapace, no missile attack upgrades. Does have +2, 1 for his Zerglings, however. And this is going to be pretty tough for TricKsteR to hold, but the Banelings, remember, are off creep.
Going very slow. Nice Storms coming in here by TricKsteR, going all the way on all of those Hydras. Nice Blinks as well, trying to get rid of those Overseers, warping in a lot more units from behind. These Hydras going to be cleaned up. The cannon helping as well. I don't think there's enough units here for July. He really needs to back off. He's gotten a couple of the cannons, but he will be thwarted, and he's lost a lot of the supply there.
Yeah, he's actually 50 supply behind now. GG! The problem was, he, like similarly to last game, he was behind, but he could have used, he had a good army, but fighting against High Templar up a ramp against cannons and Archons and Blink Stalkers was just not the place to engage yet. He needed to try to use that army. If TricKsteR, for example, had attacked with the same army that he had against July, on creep, July would have been able to use those units efficiently, maybe even do some Overlord drops. He would have been okay to maybe take a 4th or even the 5th base, not the gold base, but that more crescent-style base on the other side. Doing that would have been fine. Attacking, just going, I'm so behind, I need to kill this gold base right now. You know, it's easy for us to say that sitting in this chair, he shouldn't have attacked, but attacking was the last decision he should have made. In that
it really
case.
came down to had all those units in his drops ready to go, and then he got caught off guard with TricKsteR coming in from the north, coming in, taking out that third base really hurt him there.
Yeah.
He did defend his natural in the end, but it just put him so far behind. He was fighting to come back, and I think he almost had it at one point, but then going up there.
Those are Korean commentators. There's our foreign commentators. So, gotta say though, that drop that he did, the very first drop, if he'd used his Banelings more efficiently, he could have killed so many probes, or at least forced the probes to leave and then attack the Stalkers. As he used them, he kind of just sent the Banelings at Stalkers, and the Stalkers killed most of them before they even got the Stalkers, and the ones that did hit the Stalkers just kind of splashed on them because they're armored units. They have a lot of hit points. So that was kind of funky, I thought.
But still, both of them are staying in Code S. July going 1-2 for the day. TricKsteR 2-1, I believe, technically.
So,
But
Yeah, as far as I know now, the results are Nesty, of course, gets first place in the group and advances, and July gets
TricKsteR takes second.
Oh, so yeah, TricKsteR takes second, and July gets third.
Yep.
Stays in Code S, but does not advance to the round of 32.
I believe that's how it works. Yes.
It's a little bit weird because Rain's not here, and it just makes everything really confusing.
Yeah. And they also
Because
changed
otherwise
the
they would play again. But the thing is, there was a free win there from Rain for Nesty, and it's and also for
well, they changed the format
TricKsteR.
as well.
Yeah, TricKsteR got the free win, so that's why he's second place and not third. Otherwise, they would just play off again.
Yep. So there was a position just before. All right, we're gonna go on a 2-minute break.
2-minute break, guys. We'll talk to you in 2 minutes.